Next up, with an essay adapted from her collection Trick Mirror, is New Yorker staff writer Jia Tolentino.
In the beginning, the internet seemed good. I was in love with the internet the first time I used it at my dad's office and thought it was the ultimate cool. I wrote when I was 10 years old on an Angel Fire page titled The Story of How Jia Got Her Web Addiction. In 1999, it felt different to spend all day on the internet. This was true for everyone, not just for 10-year-olds. This was the You've Got Mail era, when it seemed like the very worst thing that might happen online was that you could fall in love with your business rival. Throughout the 80s and 90s, people had been gathering on the internet in open forums, drawn like butterflies to the puddles and blossoms of other people's curiosity and expertise. Self-regulated news groups cultivated lively and relatively civil discussion about space exploration, meteorology, recipes, rare albums. Users gave advice, answered questions, made friendships, and wondered what this new internet would become. Through the emergence of blogging, personal lives were becoming public domain, and social incentives to be liked, to be seen, were becoming economic ones. But then the call of self-expression turned the village of the internet into a city, which expanded at time-lapse speed, social connections bristling like neurons in every direction. At 10, I was clicking around a web ring to check out other Angel Fire sites full of animal gifs and Smash Mouth trivia. At 12, I was writing 500 words a day on a public live journal. At 15, I was uploading photos of myself in a miniskirt on MySpace. By 25, my job was to write things that would attract, ideally, 100,000 strangers per post. Now I'm 31, and most of my life is inextricable from the internet and its mazes of incessant forced connection, this feverish, electric, unlivable hell. As with the transition between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0, the curdling of the social internet happened slowly, and then all at once. The tipping point, I'd guess, was around 2012. The dream of a better, truer self on the internet was slipping away. Where we'd once been free to be ourselves online, we were now chained to ourselves online, and this made us self-conscious. Platforms that promised connection began inducing mass alienation. The freedom promised by the internet began to seem like something whose greatest potential lay in the realm of misuse. But even as we become increasingly sad and ugly on the internet, the mirage of the better online self continues to glimmer. As a medium, the internet is defined by a built-in performance incentive. In real life, you can walk around living life and be visible to other people. But you can't just walk around and be visible on the internet. For anyone to see you, you have to do something. You have to act. In physical spaces, there's a limited audience and a time span for every performance. Online, your audience can hypothetically keep expanding forever, and the performance never has to end. Trying to make a living as a writer with the internet as a standing precondition of my livelihood has given me some professional motivation to stay active on social media, making my work and personality and face and political leanings and dog photos into a continually updated record that anyone can see. In doing this, I've sometimes felt the same sort of unease that used to wash over me when I was a cheerleader in high school and learned how to convincingly fake happiness at football games. This sort of feeling of acting as conditions are fun and normal and worthwhile in the hopes that they will just magically become so. But lately, I've been wondering how everything got so intimately terrible and why exactly so many of us keep playing along. The idea was that social media would give us a fine-tuned sort of control over what we looked at. What resulted was a situation where we, first as individuals and then inevitably as a collective, are essentially unable to exercise control at all. Facebook's stated goal of showing people only what they were interested in seeing resulted within a decade in the effective end of shared civic reality. But the internet is so young that it's easy to retain some subconscious hope that it still might all add up to something. We remember that at one point, this all felt like butterflies and puddles and blossoms. And we sit patiently in our festering inferno, waiting for the internet to turn around and surprise us and get good again. The alternative is unspeakable, but you know that. It's already here.
Thank you, Jia.